Morning here. Last day of the federal election, I guess. So if you haven't voted, go out there and do your part. We're about to start recording this. I think you probably just saw that on your screen pop up. We are really excited to be here today with WTC, CME, and BAM to promote this incredible program that's offered by WTC that will support Manitoba businesses in exploring what it means to export. So, we often hear this phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. I think this is absolutely true when you think about business. The business community, starting a business is not an easy task. For anybody who has done this, they know that this can be very daunting. There's a lot of emotional ups and downs. And especially during this last year and a half, as a lot of businesses have been struggling to adapt at lightning pace to COVID, when we look forward and we start thinking about what we need to do, sort of as a province, as a city, as a nation to support our businesses to become more resilient, part of that is really strengthening partnerships. And so I'm really excited to be here with some of the other sector councils like CME and BAM to be able to support this wonderful program has created. Okay. Feedback here. Can you please mute on here if okay, perfect, that's gone. To sort of promote this program that WTC has that really sort of supports businesses in exploring what it means to export and to really sort of think about taking their business to that next step. Now, it's not the right step for everybody, but for a lot of companies who are looking to sort of expand their businesses, that's really the only option when it comes to that. Manitoba, is a pretty small place. I'm excited to sort of answer any questions here, to learn more about this program and to really sort of promote this partnership. WTC, we will be sharing some links out to our members, to everybody else here as well, around all of the different great programs here that WTC has, in addition to the TAP program. So I will turn it over to the next presenter, which I believe is Camille. Ron, do you want to introduce Camille?
I'm with Food and Beverage Manitoba. I just wanted to introduce Camille. Camille is, she joined WTC Winnipeg as a trade advisor with the main goal to help Manitoba companies thrive in new markets. She provides advisory and support services for established businesses, and she also helps them with connections and opportunities in the targeted countries. She has a BA in English and Spanish and International Management, as well as a master's in negotiation of international projects with a major in cross-cultural communication. She has extended experience working in business development and client relations across Europe and North America. So without further ado, I'd like Camille to take the mic.
Thank you so much, Michael and Ron. I'll be sharing my screen right now. I'm very excited to tell you more about the World Trade Center and the Trade Accelerator program. So I'm hoping you can all see my screen now. And I will go to the next slide. So I just want to start by telling you a little bit more about the World Trade Center Winnipeg, because I'm not sure if you're all familiar with what we do, but really the one thing to remember is that we have been mandated by the province of Manitoba to help companies grow their businesses, whether it's in Manitoba or to other provinces, but also to new markets. So we have a big focus on export, and we really want to share our resources with us, work with us very closely to help you grow your business. Another thing to know about the World Trade Center Winnipeg is that we are part of a network of over 300 World Trade Centers in over 100 countries. So we are part of this big network of World Trade Centers. And really what it means to you is that, if you are interested in other markets, we have the connections and we have our colleagues really worldwide that can help you access their markets. They might also be able to answer any questions you might have, give you advice or recommendations on their country. So once you target a new country, you want to make sure you are making the right decision, and that's when that network comes handy. We also have other World Trade Centers in Canada. We have 7 of them in most of the main cities across the country. So before I tell you more about the Trade Accelerator program, I'm going to spend a few minutes telling you about our key services. So there are really 2 pillars that you need to remember. We first have the advisory services. So what it means is that when you reach out to us at the World Trade Center, we want to understand your business, right? So we want to make sure we understand what you are trying to accomplish, where you are trying to go. So you will be working closely with either a business advisor or a trade advisor. We will ask you all sorts of questions just to make sure we understand your business, and then we can start working together. So we'll be sharing our resources, and what's very interesting is that we have access to a lot of different databases and resources that we can use to provide market research, for example. So once you try to export and grow your business, you want to make sure you are doing it in the right markets. You know, you are targeting the right demographic. So that market research comes really handy to make sure that you are targeting the right country. And another thing we suggest is that you go visit our website, and you'll see that we have a form, a business information request form that you can fill out, and then it really helps us understanding your needs, and we can then start working together with you. So that's one of the main pillars that we have at the World Trade Center Winnipeg. But another one that is just as important really is the training and education part of our services. So I don't know if you've had the chance to visit our website, but you will notice that we have a lot of webinars available. They are free to attend, and once you've attended the webinar, you can also find them online for free on our website. So you should really take advantage of that resource. We cover all sorts of topics. You know, it goes from HR to sales and marketing. We also have information sessions on specific countries, for example, specific programs. We have workshops as well, for example, how to start a website with Shopify or how to sell on Amazon. So a lot of different options and a lot of different training programs as well. So the 2 main ones that we have are the business planning program. So this first program is really designed for companies that are just starting their business. They want to make sure they have a solid business plan. So we work with them to make sure that they are providing the right information in that document and that it's a solid document that they can use later on. And the second program that I want to mention, and that is our focus today, really is the Trade Accelerator program. So as you know, the next session is starting on October 14. We have 2 sessions every year, and really this program has been very, very successful Canada-wide. We are not the only city in Canada to offer this program, but we are the second city after it was created in Toronto. We were the first city to offer this program outside of Toronto. So our first session was in 2017, and we've had over 80 graduates since 2017, and across Canada we have over 1,200 graduates now. So in just a few years, it's been great to see that people keep asking for this program. We keep offering sessions, and we are really happy to have 2 graduates today as well that will be able to share some of their experience and their and give their testimonial really. So if I go to the next slide, this is a good visual really to explain to you how the program works. Really, there are different phases, different steps, and the main one, the first one, I should say, is the training component. So before we start working on that export plan, before you start meeting with the expert partners, we just really want to make sure that you have all the knowledge, that you learn everything that there is to learn about exports. So there are training sessions that our expert partners present on a lot of different topics. It goes from HR to finance. We have sales and marketing, supply chain management as well. But of course, there is always that focus on export and international markets, because it is the goal, the goal of the program. But when I say training, you shouldn't think that you will just, sit and listen to all these presentations. We really want you to be an active part of this program. So these training sessions are very interactive. There are workshops, there is Q&A, you work with the other companies, you work with the expert partners that are presenting. So it's really a great opportunity for you to, ask all your questions and learn everything there is to learn. But once that is done, or along that, you are working on your export plan. So everything that you learn in the program, you apply it to the export plan, which means that there is also 5 or 6 different sections in the export plan, those same sections. So sales and marketing, HR, etc. And you will take what you learned and you will apply it to your business. So you have to really write down the strategy you have for the target market that you chose, and make sure that it's a solid plan, and you don't have to worry, because our trade advisors will be working closely with you. It's not we give you that space and freedom to work on that export plan, but we are here every step of the way. If you have any questions, if you need assistance, if you don't know where to start, we are really, part of that program. And then once the export plan is ready, you send it for review, and the goal is for the expert partners to give you their final feedback on this export plan and make sure it's solid and good to go, and that you are heading towards the right direction, really. So as I mentioned, you will start the program mid-October, and you will meet the partners at the end of the program mid-December for a final review. And this is a great opportunity, again, to get even more feedback, to make sure you have everything in place, and you just need to activate that export plan now. So it might not be obvious, but we really want to stress on the importance of an export plan. Really, the program gives you that opportunity to take a step back, and reflect on your business strategy and on where you want to go. The program is targeted at senior representatives of businesses, so it's always hard to find the time, to build such a big document, but the program really gives you that opportunity. Whether you have been exporting already, or whether you are going to be exporting for the first time, it is really a good chance for you to write everything down and make sure it's bulletproof, really. The benefits of an export plan, there is a lot of benefits, but most importantly, it gives you credibility when you work with partners. If you are going to ask, for example, for a loan, or if you want to apply to certain programs, it really adds value to your business, and if you are able to show up at a meeting and show this document, it really shows that you have done your research and you are making an informed decision by targeting a specific country. So we really recommend having an export plan for that reason, but also it just helps with your own team, to make sure that everybody's on the same page. you are all working on the same objectives, and it also reassure the rest of the team or the rest of the company to know that it is all part of a bigger plan. So the next session starts on October 14, and there will be 6 half-day sessions, over the following few weeks. And the topics covered, I mentioned them briefly earlier, but the 6 topics covered will be strategic planning, sales and marketing, international finance, legal and tax implications, supply chain management, and human resources. So really everything you need to know to make sure you are ready for export. And we are lucky to work with great expert partners. So you have their names on the screen here. We have RBC, BDC, Global Affairs Canada, People First HR, EDC BDO, NIDA Communications, TDS Law, and Supply Chain Canada. So these partners will be presenting and working with you on that export plan. So just think of the value that you're getting as part of this program, right? To get access to all this expertise. So now I want to tell you a bit more about the outcomes, because of course you want to know if if it's worth it, if you should take the time to join this program. And really the numbers have been amazing. So these numbers are are from across Canada, over the 1,200 graduates that we've had in Canada. And so as you can see, it's been 115% average export sales increase after just year 1 of graduating the program. We've also had 95% of companies that entered new markets after the program, and 31% average total sales revenue growth after year 1. So we've been very pleased with the results, and the companies as well have been really happy to share those very positive numbers with us. And we also wanted to give you maybe a more specific testimonial, I guess, from a local company. So we have Jeff from Winkler Canvas. He graduated from the very first session of TAP back in 2017, and he said that TAP Canada opened our mindset and provided important contacts, allowing us to expand and grow our business from regional to global. So again, as mentioned earlier, we really want you to take advantage of our network, whether it's from the World Trade Center network or from the expert partners that are presenting. It just really helps to have these connections. Sometimes you have a very good export plan, but then you need to activate it and you need to reach out to these new markets and find new partners or new clients, and it might be difficult. So by working with these partners, by working with us and our network, it opened a lot of doors. So you should take advantage of it. And one last comment on the few criteria that we have to attend the program. So there is a cost, and it is $595 per company, but it gives access to the program to up to 2 senior representatives. So we do recommend that you work with someone, just because it's always great to be able to share and work with another set of eyes. So we usually recommend for 2 participants. And we also ask that companies generate more than 500,000 in annual revenue. And the last criteria is that we do want you to take the program seriously. It does require some work, so you have to be committed to attend every session and also submit that final export plan. So that's pretty much it. I think it will really help to hear the testimonials later. But if you have any questions, we'll have a Q&A at the end of this session, or you should feel free to contact us at the email address listed. And I know that Ron will be sharing the presentation later with you. So you'll have all the information you need. And again, if you want to register, you can do so by having a look at the website. You will see that there is an application form, and really once you submit the application, it starts the process. It starts the work with your trade advisor, the market research, all the resources that you need to start your export journey. So we'll be happy to work with you. And that's it for me for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you for that. That was like very informative. Right, where we're going now is into the Q&A. We have with us two graduates of the TAP program. We have Danny Kreklowicz. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Danny.
Nope,
He's the CEO at Better Hemp. And we also have with us Brendan Lawrence, Vice President at MNC Commodities, Milo's Finest. So if we have, if anyone has any, I have one question for, I'll start with Brendan for this one. Is like, why should a Manitoba company expand internationally? Oh, you're muted, Brendan. Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Good. Well, thanks for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, as we said, Manitoba is a small place, and as much as we you know, we love our city and our province, we know that if we want to expand our business, we need to play outside of our own province, not only domestically but internationally. We have, you know, tons of great products here and great companies, and I think we can be, you know, a lot more aggressive. And there's tons of opportunity to be had if you're willing to take a little bit of risk and put in some time and effort. And the rewards really are huge once you tap into that market. There really is the sky's the limit. So I would highly encourage you to, if you're not exporting now, to start playing in those markets.
Okay, thank you, Brendan. Dan, same question. Like, why should a Manitoba company expand internationally?
Well, I guess it really depends on what kind of company you have. Like with our business selling hemp parts, we have to sell large volumes at a fairly small margin. So if we could only sell in Manitoba, that we would never have even set the company up. Even Canada isn't a big enough market, really. So our first sales actually were to Korea and then to the United States. And we need large markets. Otherwise, our business model doesn't work. And we're always looking for new ones. And I mean, a new one that's going to be opening up in the next 3 to 6 months will be India. And we'll be all over that one too, because every time you have a new group of potential customers, you have the potential to double or triple or whatever your revenues, which is what it's all about.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Is there any other questions for Brendan or Dan? Okay. Another question that I have then is what was for Brendan? Like, what was your experience writing the export plan? Like, you know, has it helped define and, you know, helped you reach new target markets?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, as a younger company with the entrepreneurial attitude, lots of times you just, you know, you want to just go. And one of the flaws can be is that you don't always take the time to fully do the research that you should and really put it on paper and organize it in a way that makes sense. So being, you know, I say forced, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but going through TAP and you know, they make you do the work. And so it really puts it into perspective for you in seeing all the different aspects of exporting, because sometimes, you know, it's really not as easy as just shipping a container overseas. There's many components, you know, from a capital perspective, from a talent perspective, logistics perspective, that you may not really be thinking of. And it's not because you're not necessarily that you're not taking the time to learn, but it's you don't know what you don't know. So TAP really helps kind of put it all into perspective, and having all the different partners in the room really help pull it from each function or area of the business to put it on paper. So no, it helped a lot. And then the best thing too is, I mean, TAP makes you do it for one specific market, but I mean, the same system, same everything applies to any other market, and it makes it 10 times easier to slip in a new country or region in that plan. And now you can very easily scale your business to any country you want, really.
Excellent. Thank you. That's great. Dan? Like, it's just your experience with the, like, I know one of the big features of TAP is that it gives you the tools you need to write like a comprehensive export plan. So could you tell us about your experience with that?
Well, I mean, it was very beneficial to help us really. I mean, we knew our markets we were attacking anyway, but it helped us hone in on what we were doing in each market and how we were going to approach each market. And the bigger thing for us was that, I mean, because we didn't do this before we started exporting, we learned a lot of hard lessons beforehand. We didn't know what export insurance was with Export Development Canada. And we had sold some product to a company that they took about $50,000 worth of product and went bankrupt. So it was a pretty hard hit. And had we known about it beforehand, it would have been a lot better. We also had some close misses. Like, we really didn't understand the tax implications in the United States, like having a permanent establishment and different rules that they have and how they work. We got lucky there. We didn't do anything wrong. But it just happened for us that it happened to be the time we were working with our accountants on that issue that I wound up sort of learning about it in TAP as well. And it turned out we're okay, but it could have been a lot worse. So it would have been a lot better if we had done this 3 years ago.
Wow. Yeah, that's excellent. Yeah, it's basically, I guess, is it a case of you don't know what you don't know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and like, I'll just continue with you, Dan. Like, so how's the program helped you move forward with your export plans then? Is it like, sort of impact has it had on your company? What results have you seen?
Well, it's partly guided us in how we structure things outside the country for tax reasons. It's helped us sort of refine how we were approaching the market with different products. We actually, because things slowed down during COVID last year, we did do a rethink and we did decide to we do a lot of bulk products to other food manufacturers, but we also have some retail products, and we sort of decided to shift towards retail. So it was kind of a good coincidental timing for that, because it allowed us to work on that as well. So it's still pretty early for us. We just did it in the spring, so we haven't seen a huge amount of results yet, but we're going down the right path, and that's what's important.
Excellent. Wow, that's great. And so the retail move of it, is it like, Manitoba, it's like in Sobeys and everything? That's where we can find it?
No, we're pushing the United States. Again,
Oh,
it's a market thing, right? Like, it takes a lot of effort with the products we have, where you have pretty small margin. It takes a lot of effort to get into a handful of grocery stores in Winnipeg, whereas, we have a relationship with a chain of stores in the United States that has 150 stores. It's just a whole different scenario down there. Even just thinking about Amazon in Canada versus Amazon in the United States, you can do 10 times the sales on Amazon.com. So it's more geared towards the United States.
Okay, great. Okay, thank you. And Brendan, same question. Like, how would you say the program has helped you with your extra plans? What sort of like impact and results have you seen?
Yeah, we've seen great results, I guess, on the front end, you could put it. And the same thing, we've noticed opportunities to go after the retail markets overseas, which can take some time. But we got it all established. Everything kind of came to a halt due to COVID, but the plan really helps get you there. And like we said, I mean, the key thing is that all those partners and all those things you want to put in place before you send it, because there's SGS, there's EDC, you want to have insurance, you want to get all of your regulatory things done before it hits the border and it's sitting there. It's going to cost you thousands of dollars to get it out. So it really, I would say we were very proactive in a lot of those things because of TAP. And I mean, the results are, we probably saved tons on what could have been a write-off, or what could have been products sent back, or what could have been who knows what. So there's not really a number that you can even put on that. And that's, I think, probably the biggest value that we got out of it so far. And not to mention the scale that I think is coming once COVID is done and that pent-up demand kind of hits us. So.
Excellent. Thanks.
Out of curiosity, if I could ask a question in there, like, if you were sort of to make a recommendation to another company, both Brendan and Dan, like what would be the main takeaway that you would say to them? Because on the surface, like I can imagine that this is pretty intimidating, right? When you sort of approach something like this, you look at this plan, you're saying, oh, I got to write an export plan, do all of this. That's pretty intense. What would you say to someone who's maybe on the fence and who's saying, oh, should I take this? Oh, I'm not big enough, or oh, I don't, like, because there's a lot of work that you have to put into this.
Yeah, but I think it's time well spent, because depending on your business, if you're already a successful business in Manitoba or within Canada, this going through this process may make you decide you don't need to export, or you shouldn't export, or there may be other issues. So it could save you a ton of time that way. On the other hand, like I said, it could save you from making mistakes. So it's a lot better to learn about all these details and all these things beforehand, because it will save you 10 times as much time and money down the road, which, as I said, if we had done that, we could have saved $50,000 in losses. We could have, had a little less stress on a number of things. There were a lot of reasons why it would have made a lot more sense to do it before we did. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if export is in on your radar even a little bit, I mean, for the little bit of money and the time it takes to do it, I mean, you're going to spend a lot more money and a lot more time picking up the pieces later if you don't have that knowledge. And I would say the value in just the network and the connections alone that you're going to make is well worth it, aside from the plan, because everybody that you need on your side to bring things across the border is in that room. From the professional side, and then not only there's there's a lot of other companies that you're going to meet and be able to share share some of your challenges and experience there, so that the value in that alone is worth it.
And if I can add to that, that's one of the feedback we receive the most from companies, that time well spent. We hear that a lot because, as we mentioned, business owners are very busy as well, and you don't always have the time to, be proactive and work on a strategy. So it really gives you that opportunity to make sure you have a solid base before you go any further, and so that you don't go too far and realize too late or later that you made a mistake. So it's very interesting to hear that feedback here.
Excellent. Does anybody have any other questions? So all in all, what I am hearing that is that, like, it was a very great experience, but like, would you be able to say, before you started the experience, like Mike mentioned, it sounds like a very intense program. Like, can you talk about what your expectations were going into the program, and then how those expectations were met? Brendan, like.
No, it's a good point. And I mean, the expectations going in, I mean, it was hard to have any expectations, not knowing what you're really getting yourself into. And I mean, I've been to tons of workshops and webinars and networking, and this is by far the hardest. And I think that the biggest thing that makes it, and I'm not going to say tough, but just that you guys hold us so accountable to doing that work. It's not something where it's like, okay, write it and we'll talk about it. No, you're going through it with a fine-tooth comb, and it better be done right, or you're just going to look like a fool. So and it's a good thing, because it pushes you to do it, and it pushes you to do it right. So I that's the biggest part that I wasn't expecting from the program. So, but it's a good thing.
Yeah, from my perspective, I would say the same thing. We didn't put as much time into planning before as we should have. It felt like a bit of a burden at the time, putting in a lot of extra hours doing it. But if you don't put in that time over that 3 or 4 week period or whatever, what are you going to put it in over a year or 2 years when you get a chance? Like it's just, if you don't force yourself to do something, a lot of times you won't do it. I didn't have particularly large or high expectations, because, like I said, we had been exporting for 3.5 or 4 years before I took the program. I kind of felt like, well, I think I've figured out most of it. But there were a lot of surprises in there. There were a lot of beneficial things. One of the issues we've always had is we use a credit union, and receiving international wire payments through a credit union is very difficult. Sending a lot of electronic payments is difficult. And as a result of the TAP program, we actually set up a new relationship with a bank. And there was some COVID loan money that the credit union just was not interested in helping us with because they couldn't be bothered, and the bank did. So we happened to get a big loan that's going to help us for the next 2, 3, 4 years. So sometimes there are surprises in there. Some of the other ones that were kind of funny was that, like I said, before I had started, I really didn't know a whole lot about the tax issues. And it just happened that BDO is my accountant. BDO are the ones that help with the program. It just so happens that I wound up having a discussion with my accountants within a couple days of the program that was almost identical to one of the seminars. And the seminar, of course, is $500 for the whole program, not $300 an hour or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, and the same thing actually with the trademarking and TDS. Long story of how I know them, but I had started talking to TDS as well. And of course, sure enough, within weeks in the program, almost identical conversation. So a lot of the things that you get in the program are exactly what you'd get if you went and hired an accountant or if you went and talked to a lawyer.
Wow, that's awesome. We have a question from the audience. They're wondering then, is there any specific information or training that you think should be included in the program, like for future companies that are going to be taking the program? Is there anything that you think should be covered in more detail? Brendan?
So you were saying, was there anything missing?
Yeah.
Is that essentially what we're saying? I don't know. I think, I mean, I'd say the only part that it doesn't really cover, I guess, is maybe the regulatory side. But I mean, that's so broad depending on where you go that I don't know how you could. I mean, maybe a little bit on the, like places like SGS would be maybe something that I don't think was covered, but maybe it was. It was a long time ago. But no, other than that, I mean, it's going to give you the foundation to what you need to know. And I feel like if you do a good job on the plan and you make the connections, if you ask the questions, you can fill in the blanks. So I don't think there's much missing from that program.
Excellent. Thanks.
Yeah, I would agree. Same thing. It covers a lot. It doesn't cover it in as much detail as you'd like, but it's also not like a full university course that goes on for 6 months. Like, I mean, it gives you a bit of a background, a bit of an understanding, and enough information to go learn more or figure out more or talk to someone to get more.
Excellent. Does anybody else have any questions for either Brendan, Dan, or Camille? Okay. So as I'll say, I'd just like to thank Camille and WTC for their presentation. It was very informative, and thank you very much to Brendan and Dan for sharing your experiences and sharing your insight. From the sounds of it, it sounds like TAP is an excellent program, and that it really helped both your companies for entering into the export market. So, just want to thank you both for sharing that experience. Yeah. So what I'll be doing, what'll be happening now is that I'll be sharing the slideshow and the recording to all the participants as well. I'll be bringing that out. I'll also be sending a short survey as well, a 4-question survey. So if you'd like to fill that out, just for our own benefit. And yeah, I hope everybody has. If anyone has did you want to have any closing remarks, Camille?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ron. I just wanted to add, if you have any questions, the email address will be included in the presentation. And whether you are, 100% going to register or maybe not quite yet, we really encourage that you start this conversation with us, with the trade advisor, because there is a lot of different programs, a lot of different workshops that can help as well. And we really want you to take advantage of our resources and our network. So please don't hesitate.
Great. Okay. So I hope everybody has a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye-bye.